It looks like the girls are back at it again, but this time the tea is a little hotter.
Welcome back, everyone. We have another episode of Spill It Sis, where we're gonna read one of your DMs or email, and we're gonna talk about it and what we would do in those situations. Right. I want to give a little disclaimer. We don't do these frequently, but we will do them once in a while. So you can always send us some stories for us to share. We do read it and we do record, and we do post it. So, you know, we do appreciate everyone sending them in. I know it's not an easy thing to do, to share the stuff that you're going through with us. It's always going to be confidential. And it's going to stay between us two and you. So don't feel like just because you share something that, you know, we're going to expose you or see you differently. We all go through situations and sometimes we don't know how to handle them. Alright.
So here it says, I'm really close with my coworkers. We vent, hang out, and it feels like real friendship. But work gossip and politics make things weird. I've shared personal stuff and later regretted it or felt pressure to overshare just to fit in. How do you know where to draw the line between coworkers and real friends without it affecting your job?
Oh, that's a good one and a tough one, right? Because politics is a very thick topic, in the sense of like some people take it really personal, in my opinion. I'm not a political person, but I do have my own personal views on certain situations, and my boyfriend has always said it best. Like, you don't want to talk about politics and religions with individuals, right? Because you never know which direction they're at, and sometimes you never want to say the bad things, right? Like, you never want to offend anybody. And personally, that's one thing that I've had to learn, is to like not get too political with people. So I would highly suggest, don't even talk about politics, don't even bring certain things up, right? And you know, you kind of want to align yourself with individuals that have the same vision and values as you, because often you're going to clash with one another when it comes to those topics. And people are going to want to bring specific topics in the conversation, right? Like, oh, did you see X, Y, and Z? And then it's like, oh, now we're getting into it. So I'd rather just avoid it or not say anything. Did they say they were close to this person? They're close friends, but they're coworkers?
Yeah, so they're close coworkers. That this person has vented, hung out with them, and it feels like a real friendship that they have, right? Like, it's genuine, transparent. But I guess when it's time to be back in the workplace, and then work drama and gossip happens and politics are spoken about, it feels weird. So there's probably misalignment in those things. You know, like if we're friends and you're gossiping about someone else, you know, maybe gossip makes me feel weird. Like, I don't know. Oops, sorry. But okay, so with this, like, I can relate to, like, it's kind of hard for me to fully relate, to be honest, but I can understand this person. How do you, essentially though, the question is like, how do you draw the line between being a coworker and a real friend without it affecting your job? And I think that's part of the answer. Like, if you feel like getting close with that person is affecting your job, then you're crossing the line.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, because I met you at work, and I read this, like, I can't really, like, I never felt that with you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I ever felt that with you, then I feel like at that point, the minute that I felt weird about it, I would just know my place and know our dynamic and be like, okay, she is a coworker. You know? She's a coworker that I have good moments with. right? But I should not be transparent with this person. I should not be spilling my business to this person. I should not really be engaging in gossip with this person if I don't want that gossip to spread around, right? Because I don't fully trust them. So I think if there's any like feelings of feeling unsure or uncertain about the dynamic, then that's the answer. Like, that's just your coworker. You know, like, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I personally think not everyone you work with is your friend.
No, absolutely not.
And I think that goes back to, like, you know, having the same values and beliefs. You know, like, that plays a part. Like, you're surrounding yourself with who has the same vision, values, and beliefs, right? So if you and this coworker are good outside of work, but then at work it's not good, then I'm going to be honest with you. I think you need to separate yourself from them and just keep it as work related thing. Because what are you going to do, quit your job and then be friends outside? Like, you know?
Yeah. And I don't even think you need to fully align. Like, if I'm being honest, I think it's a respect thing. Like, I feel that I don't align with everyone I'm friends with. Like, I feel like there's been things that a friend would say and I think, and I'm like, oh, I don't necessarily agree with that, but I'm going to be respectful of your view. And it's not anything that feels like personal to me that you're attacking me, because then I feel like it goes both ways. Like, I even feel like we disagreed on certain. I was trying to think of something specific, but it doesn't come to my mind. But, you know, like, if you have a view and I disagree with it, my place is to respect you. Not even on a friend level, just like on a basic level. So if, like, that person is not able to do that, then clearly that person isn't meant to know more about you and be your friend, because that goes both ways, you know. So that's the part. And then the whole politics thing is tricky. Like, me personally, I don't really engage in politics. Like, I have my views on it, I just don't really engage in talking about politics with people in the workplace. Definitely no. And not even like around family either. Like, I just really listen to people, I observe, I hear people out, but I don't really put my 2 cents in too much, because that's a topic that people get very excited about, and it could get really, sticky. It could get really sticky, and I'm not doing all that, honestly. Like, I'm gonna just protect my peace. I just want to recognize that, I just want to acknowledge that is hard to do, especially when you spend majority of your time at work, and especially if you're an older individual, because it's like, what does your routine usually look like? It's usually you going home, going to work, maybe you have some extracurriculars, which will be like going to the gym, right? But I say that to say your circle of exposure to other people is more limited. So naturally, you want to find community or friendships within the people that you work with. And unfortunately, you can't always do that. I feel very fortunate because I was able to get a group of friends from my workplace, from the different schools that I was in, and even from attending, you know, school as an adult. But it's really hard. Like, it's really, really hard to do that, to mix.
Yeah, and I also think that just because you work with them, you don't necessarily have to make them your friend either, right? Or you're spilling your beans. Like, you could still talk to them and hang out, you know, outside of work, grab a drink and do X, Y, and Z. But it's like, you know, I would try to be not so open. You know, like, I'm a person that I'm an open book. I tell everybody everything. And one thing that I've had to learn is certain individuals get to see a certain side of me, right? So, like, those specific coworkers that you're hanging out with, that you're good outside, but then in the workplace becomes a problem, those are your coworkers that you can maybe grab a drink and de-stress about work. From our previous video, we were talking about the different types of boundaries that we can set, and maybe this is a boundary that you can set for yourself, right? Where you're not showing so much of you. Like, you can share little stuff, don't get me wrong, about yourself if that's what you want to do, but I wouldn't full-on vent to them about what you're going through. Just because of the dynamic that you shared.
Yeah. But it is hard to do. I'm in a new work environment, and I find myself wanting to vent with people around me. Even though, like, I vent to you, I feel like it does feel good to vent to someone that understands and is living the same situation as you. Like, I will say that. And I feel that I found people in my job to do that with, but I still use discretion, like, if that makes sense. But I do recognize, like, I have felt what this person said, like, I have disclosed some things and I'm like, ooh, should I really have even disclosed that? Because I think that is how you build relationships too. Like, you disclose a little and then you see what happens. You disclose a little bit more, and like, that's how I got close to you, right? Like, I got vulnerable with you in your office, and like, I feel like ever since that day, like, I was like, oh, I feel like I could trust this girl, and like, we kind of build, you know, on that. And that wasn't that wasn't like the one defining moment, because we've had other positive interactions prior to that, but that was like a deep moment, you know, where I was like about to cry. Did I cry, or I was about to cry? I don't remember.
I think you teared a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Karina's, I actually cried. So you know what I'm saying? Like, those moments build you up to like a stronger. And what I was gonna say, like, in this place, I find myself like, with you, I did it, and then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, like, I could trust her, and then I continued on, and then it was just like more and more reassurance, right? With this, I'm like, I do it, and then I'm like, ooh, should I have did that? And then I'm like in this place of like limbo and still wondering if I made the right decision. So then, because I feel that, I'm like, yeah, I need to be more cautious about what I'm sharing, and what is my purpose of wanting to share it, and if I really need to share it that badly, go to a reliable source like you, for example, right? So yeah, I totally understand this, and like, it makes total sense to me. It makes so much sense to me, but like I said, as you get older, because it's like your connections are limited.
Yeah, but just to, I want to touch up on the little things that you shared, right? Like, you didn't fully went in and shared your most deepest secret with the person, right? Like, you opened a can of worms in a sense of something that's like on the surface level, and you can kind of like, you know, go deeper and deeper and deeper, right? Like, think about it like the ocean, right? Like, you're at the top, like, you're gonna give a surface level story or vent session, right? Where then little by little you're going deeper and deeper and deeper to test out, okay, like, is this a trustable area? It's not like you're fully on, like, let me vent to you about what my boyfriend did to me last night, you know? It's like I had this conversation, you know, with X, Y, and Z, and can I get your, you know, insight on this, or whatever the case may be. But it's not full on crazy, you know?
Yeah, no, that's why I mentioned the interactions prior to that moment.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I wanted to continue to say, like, you know, based off those responses that you got, you were able to see, like, if you can fully trust on this person. Yeah. And this person, I don't know exactly what the situation was, right? But for you to feel like you can trust them outside, and now it's getting sticky in the workplace, like, there should have been little signs, little by little, outside of work, right? Where now, when work comes into play, it's like those flags that's shown outside of work are playing into the work life. Does that make sense? Like, okay, let me give you a scenario, right? You tell me something about what a person did, and then they're like, you know, like, well, that person put themselves first, like, you shouldn't be upset, you know? And like, now we're in the work, right? And you tell me a great idea, and it's like, oh shoot, she didn't share this great idea, let me share this great idea. Now I stole your own idea, right? Like, when you had that conversation about the person outside of work, and now they played into work, that's a red flag, because I told you about what a person did to me, and you went on to do it and how I felt. Does that make sense?
Like, the behavior that I told you about outside of work that didn't make me feel good, you repeated that behavior in the workplace?
Correct.
Oh yeah.
Like, those same red flags that were done outside of work will play in work. If that makes sense.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Yes.
What am I saying?
Yeah, you're saying like the negative things. Red flags are usually negative, right? Obviously. So the
Yes, red flags are negative. Okay, that's why they're red. Like danger, stay out. It's not a red flag.
No, so you're you're saying the negative stuff that was done in a personal space, right? Wait, you made me lose my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
The negative things that were done in the personal space can be repeated or can be shown in the work, can show up in the workplace.
Yes.
Yeah.
And often when we're outside of work, it's not really like, you know, we're not cautious of like, okay, what are they doing? We tend to be a little bit more like laid back outside, but those flags were still there. You know, maybe it wasn't full on like alert, but it was full on like whoosh,
I never thought about that. That's actually a good point, because it's like, that's a good point. Like, you want to make sure, so that's like a tip, right? Like, can this person be trusted? This person acts the same outside of work as they do inside of work.
Correct.
So you could trust that their personality basically is the same. Like, they're not like switching up and acting funny because now we're in a workplace. And also it depends like where you work at too. Like, I don't know why in my mind, retail job, commission job came up for me. Like, I know we don't do that type of work, but like, I could see, can you imagine like you have a friend and then y'all work in the same retail space trying to get commission, and then they steal your sale or something, acting mad funny and selfish. But then so that's like an example. Like, if they act selfish outside of work, they may act selfish inside, and they'll just be like grabbing the sales, just to make an example or make the connection. And like, if they're a selfless person, if they're like, oh, it's the last slice now, you got it, outside of work, and then inside of work they're like, yo, I just made a sale, but I'm gonna let you have this sale because I want both of us to eat. Like, that's a selfless person. So I agree. That's a good point. You want to see like the same behaviors throughout.
Yeah.
And I think another sign is that you want to see it be reciprocal, in the sense of I'm sharing information and then the person is also sharing information. Because if I'm the only one sharing, then that's a sign that like that person may not trust me, and then it feels weird because then it's like an imbalance. Like, I feel like, again, going back to that vulnerable moment that I was telling you about in your office, like, I was like this, that, and the third, and then you were also like, oh, I just want, it wasn't in that same, I don't remember if it was in that same moment because we've had so many talks at this point, but like, I remember at one point you saying like, oh, this, that, and the third about something in my life, because we were getting to know each other. So then I was like, oh wow, she's also sharing about her personal life to me, you know. And then I kept that to myself, you kept the stuff I shared with you to yourself, and then I felt like that just helped solidify like, oh, this is a real friend, this isn't a coworker.
Overall, right, you want to just look at what they do outside and what they do on the inside. You want to make sure that everything is being reciprocated, and that, you know, you want someone to treat you how you want to be treated, right? Not show one side outside of work and not show another side in work. And I know sometimes it's a lot hard, because when you're at work, you want to fit in and you want to do that, but then it's like that person shouldn't treat you different because you're surrounded by other individuals. So
or like the stake of the job. Like, I don't know what job you do, but like a commission job, for example, I could see how that can get weird. Last thing I will say is trust your gut, your intuition. Like, if it feels funny, it is funny, right? If it feels safe, it is safe. That's how I feel. That's like 100%. The main thing, right? But that's that on that, folks. So again, if you have any information or any POV that was not shared or provided here and you think would be beneficial for us all to know, especially us, right, because we're also learning constantly, then please drop it in the comments. We would love it if you can like this video, if you watched it all the way. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss. We drop every Sunday at 5 p.m. and we've been really good about that.
We've been consistent.
Yeah. Shout out to Katie, bro. Like, she keeps me on my P's and Q's. For
it's
real,
all
for
destiny.
Definitely. So we'll be right here every Sunday 5 p.m. to chop it up with you guys. Like, come sit, grab a cup of coffee, tea. It's always a good time. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.
Don't think you're done just yet. More tea is brewing.
Until next time, and don't forget to spill it, sis.